everybody, welcome to A Culinary Journey. I'm Luca and we have a great show in store for you today. You know, I do shows on cream sauces, I do shows on this and all these great foods. But you know what, today it's all about heart-healthy foods. And I have a great guest. Her name's Barbara Dalrymple, and she's going to be with me today. We're going to talk about heart-healthy. And I tell you, we're going to go on this journey like you've never been before. A poached salmon that has so much flavor. We're going to do grilled vegetables with some Moroccan seasoning. And then we also are going to finish that off with a Moroccan couscous. Now, these are little couscous that I'm just going to bloom. I'm going to show you a little trick on how to do that. So all that and more is coming up on our culinary journey, which starts now. Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. We have a great show in store for you today. I'm here with Barbara. How's it going?
Very well, thank you. Thank you for having me today.
Well, it's great to have you. Now, what's your title?
I am Director of Cardiac Rehabilitation at Peterborough Banana Community Hospital. And I'm actually the president of the State Society and just brought a team back from the Olympics.
Awesome.
And most individuals ask me, how do you cook heart healthy?
Really?
So I'm hoping you'll help me.
Well, I'll work on that today. Well, heart healthy doesn't have to mean no flavor, and it doesn't have to mean taking away everything that you need. It's all about moderation, and I'm sure that you stress that also. Moderation is the biggest key to anything you do, and if you do that from the beginning, your heart should be healthy the whole way through, right? So there are those times where you're going to cheat a little bit, and you're going to eat here and eat there, and maybe that extra helping or more cream than not or something like that. But generally, if you follow a diet like the Mediterranean diet, it really is the quintessential diet to use when you want to eat heart healthy. So today, we're going to be doing some grilled vegetables, absolutely perfect. We're going to be doing some poached salmon, and then we're going to finish that off as our side dish, which is the Moroccan couscous. Now, that's the first thing I want to start off with. I'm going to show you how easy this is. Moroccan couscous are these little grains of semolina. And basically, semolina is the building block for all pastas. It's the grain that is then taken, and then it's called cracked semolina. What they do is take the semolina and just crack it. So instead of making it into a pasta or into a flour that makes the pasta, they leave it the way it is. Now that, I'm actually not going to do anything to. I'm going to take just a little bit of vegetable stock and the semolina and put it in a pan. Now by the time we're ready to go with this, it's going to be all ready. We're going to use a little bit of extra virgin olive oil, and that's considered healthy, right?
Yes, it is.
All right, good. Good thing, because us Italians would have something to say about that. Just going to give it a mix. And I'm actually not even turning this on. I'm not turning the heat on for this. The Moroccan couscous is going to bloom and was going to absorb the water that it's in. So it's just going to bloom. A little bit of salt, and we use kosher salt and cracked black pepper. I always keep that around. Sea salt is great for you too. If you're using iodized salt, that iodized salt is just so salt. I couldn't tell you the difference, but kosher salt, you just have a pinch of it, it just gives you great flavor. Iodized salt tastes like salt, and it's probably bad for you.
Exactly, it is, and we try to make sure we replace salt with something that is heart healthy, such as the salts that you mentioned.
Right, and then also one of the things we're going to do later on is replacing salt almost altogether with different flavors, cumin, coriander, turmeric, all these great flavors and herbs. That's a great way to go. Now, salt is a flavor enhancer, and if you use it as a flavor enhancer instead of a flavor, what you're going to get is balances in what you're cooking. I think most people, when they say, well, you know, I don't want to take all the flavor out of my food, you really don't have to. Fresh herbs, fresh ingredients, they all add flavor of their own. I'm putting dill and mint in our couscous. You know how much natural flavor, right? They had just natural,
Delicious.
I mean, just we smell it, right, like that is in our couscous. And then what I'm going to do is just take some grape tomatoes. We could also cook them down if we want to, but I just want to get the essence of the grape tomatoes, and those are going to go in our couscous too. So let's just leave that there. And as you can see already, again, remember, I haven't cooked anything. Things in their natural state, they work even better too. They're also healthier for you. The less you actually have to cook something,
Nothing is
the better
breaking
it is.
down.
Right, exactly. All your nutrients are there. Now the other thing we're going to make is our grilled vegetables. We are definitely going to cook these. So what I want to do is we're going to get the grill started cooking. And everyone goes to me, you never clean your grill. I call it seasoned. It's a seasoned grill because I don't have to add too much flavor. It brings it back to me. So what I want you to do for me is you're going to give me a cut of my vegetables. You're going to do the zucchini, and I basically just need them on the bias. Nice size. They don't have to be too small.
Sure.
So that's your job right there.
Okay.
And you'll start doing that. And I'll start working on some of the other vegetables. Now, grilled vegetables, perfect dish to make. We eat two ways. We eat, of course, with our palates and our nose and those senses, but also with our eyes. You know, if you make things vibrant and fresh and really look good, and you're using farm fresh ingredients and closer to home ingredients, for instance, if you utilize the farmer's market, if you utilize those type of things, you're going to get great ingredients that when you look at them, they just scream at you. Sure. Here, you need more?
Sure.
There you go.
Please. Thank you.
I'm
very fast in the kitchen.
So now, in all the years you've been doing this, I mean, is that the biggest thing that you find out? Is people's diets changing?
It is the very first question after someone has had a heart attack or open heart surgery. For rehabilitation purposes, their biggest fear is how can I lose weight and eat properly and healthy.
Right. Now, the first thing you tell them are one of the first things you tell them getting away from the processed foods?
Absolutely. And actually, the most important thing for our clients is that they have to identify their behavior prior to their heart disease, and this behavior has to be changed. So we encourage them, and quite forcefully, to stay away from the saturated fats and to stick with the olive oils and poly and unsaturated and monounsaturated fats, just to begin with, but also identifying cholesterol. But most important are the vegetables and the fresh fruits to be encompassed into their meal plan every day.
And that's really important what we're doing here. Although we're going to be adding a salmon, because you need some type of protein.
Absolutely.
And fish with the omega-3s is great for you. And you can't go wrong with that. But adding your vegetables into your diet in abundance and actually taking up most of your plate with your vegetables and fresh greens and legumes and those items there really enhances your health overall. Now, one of the things we're going to do, again, I'm going to try and use as little salt as possible. But one of the things I'm doing by adding just a touch of salt directly to what we have, the salt is going to bring moisture out of what we're cooking. So instead of layering these with oil, whether it's an olive oil or canola oil, I don't really have to. What I'm doing is actually using the natural juices in here to cook our food. So again, there's not a lot of salt in there at all. And I think, again, going back to our moderation, it's all about moderation is the key. It's when you actually portion sizes. When you take things out of your diet, let's say even before you're worrying about your heart health because something happened, when you're doing your diet just naturally, if you're watching ahead of time, preventative medicine is the best type of medicine, right? So what we're trying to do is even get people to think ahead, say, hey, what can I do to make it so I don't have to go visit you? Not that they don't want to see you, but you know, if you're there, you're already in trouble. So after that, what I'm going to also do is put on our mushroom. We're just going to grill up a mushroom right here. And we'll get it on the grill.
Have you prepared your pan besides it being seasoned from previous
You know what?
use?
Really, all I do with it is I heat it up. And really with the pan, if you use a little non-spray stick, that works out well too. But again, when you're talking about vegetables like this that have a lot of moisture in them, as the moisture comes out, they're actually going to do its own preparation of the pan. So I don't have to do too much. Okay. So that's what we're going on here. So now we're going to take a quick little break. What I have here, if you take a look at that, see how that couscous is coming together?
That's perfect.
Right? And we didn't have to do anything. What we're going to do is just let the moisture keep working on it, and we have our ingredients and our flavors in there. And then we have our pan grilling. What I'm going to start doing, and before we leave this segment, all I'm going to do is add some wine in this pan, and then some fish stock. And when we come back, as that kind of heats up, I'm going to add some ingredients in that. to do our poaching of our salmon, and we'll talk about that in a second. So don't go away.
Great.
We'll be right back.
Thank you.
I've published short stories. Now I want to finish my novel. That means an MFA at Southern New Hampshire University.
Our Master of Fine Arts is taught by award-winning writers like Russell Banks and Cy Montgomery. Just go to snhu.edu.
You don't have to be a hero to be a hero. When you adopt a child from foster care, just being there makes all the difference.
There's a lot of talk out on the street about his mother. His mother. Your mother. Their mother. But in the end, is anyone really even thinking about them?
All right, welcome back, everybody, to the show. Right now, I'm just turning over our grilled vegetables here. I'm here with Barbara. Barbara, how's it going?
Going well. It
Am I
looks
doing
delicious.
okay so far? Yeah?
I can't wait to see that salmon.
Okay. Well, what we have here, just to kind of recap, is our couscous that we've bloomed, and we're starting to see that it's absorbing the water around it. We have our vegetables that we lightly coated with some kosher salt and black pepper so that the moisture in there allows it to get some nice grill marks. Works great on the outdoor grill over open fresh coals and what have you. You don't have to just do it on the indoor. But if you don't have the ability to get outside and you get a grill pan like this, what's great about using a grill pan like this, whether you're grilling a fish or a meat or what have you, a lot of the fats come off of it and get away from the meat and kind of get into the grill pan. And you're taking away some of the extra fat, but keeping all the flavor that you want. So, but in this case, for grilling vegetables, I love the feel of the char-grilled vegetables, and I leave them nice and crunchy. I don't want to get too cooked down. Is that good?
Right.
I'm doing
yes,
all right?
Yes.
All right,
Don't wanna
here
lose
we
that-
started our stock, right? We added wine and a fish stock, and that you could either purchase or you can make your own. It's not that hard. I'm adding a little dill. I just love the
I can
fragrance of the
smell
dill.
that.
Yeah.
Sounds great.
We're going to add some garlic in there, and we're going to add some Old Bay seasoning. Now, Old Bay and fish just go together really well. So it's
Now,
nice.
is there any additional sodium in the bay?
There might be a little bit of sodium, and that's why you're not going to use anything but that in this. We're not going to add any salt to our fish. And then some shallots, and we let that cook.
Right.
Now, we'll give that a couple of minutes to kind of come together. Why don't you grab
Okay.
the
All
salmon
right.
out of the fridge while
Okay.
while she's doing that. I'm going to actually take our vegetables, and we're going to take our well, let them cook down just a little bit longer. We'll turn this down a little bit. But so while you get the salmon, here's what we're going to do. So salmon is easy to go purchase. It's one of the most popular fish out there. It's high in omega-3s, is that correct?
Absolutely, it is.
All right, so omega-3s are a great thing to have if you consider yourself. I mean, people take fish oil pills, right?
They do.
So if they eat their proper amount of fish, they should
And
kind
the
of
omega-3s,
compensate.
and it's important that the audience realizes what omega-3s do.
Yeah.
They're going to reduce the bad cholesterol that causes coronary artery disease. So it's important when you look at your menu exactly what foods are rich in omega-3.
And what other foods besides the salmon would be? Is it mostly a fish thing? Is it you get it out of the fish, or is it
you definitely do get it out of fish, and there are some vegetables that are high with omega-3s,
Awesome.
but
Awesome. And in this case, this is the part. So if we're doing dinner for two, that's what we're going to make sure.
How many ounces here?
Boom, boom. How many ounces here? Well, we
Right.
got to think about sizes,
Yes,
right?
we do. Portion
okay, well,
sizes.
that's about 6, 8. There's about 10 ounces here if we don't count the tail. How's that?
Okay.
We're looking. How many ounces should we
That's
have?
actually, you needn't have more than 6 ounces in a full day, so basically 3 ounces at a meal.
Okay, then
But
that's
if
what
you
we're going to
haven't
do.
had anything for lunch, then 6 ounces will be acceptable.
Well, between you and me, we're pretty hungry. Did you have any lunch?
I have not had any
All right,
lunch.
we're going to go with 4 ounces just to cut the difference so we don't do
I'll
too
have the
much.
4, you can have the 6.
Okay, well, then we're just going to get this much down, and we're going to take the rest of this off here. We'll save it for later. Now, one of the things we could do is you could always freeze it. When you go to the fishmonger and you go looking for your salmon, you could always freeze your salmon if you need to. If you get a big piece to bring home, let's say you got it at a good price. And then you could ask them to take the skin off, or you could leave the skin on. I like the skin on. It adds a little more flavor. But if you are worried when it comes down to the extra fat into your diet, now the fat in a salmon or in any type of fish is in the skin also. So if you need to ever take that off, just take a sharp knife, go through the bottom, and we'll just take that off.
Now, I've seen salmons that are pinker than others. Is there a quality to a salmon according to its color?
Yeah, definitely. Well, it's not necessarily always a quality, but it's different types of salmon. So there's a lot of different types of salmon out there. You can get the farm-raised Atlantic salmon, which most people in our area know about. Or you could go out and get a salmon from the Pacific West, where you'll find some that are lighter in color, even more flavor, and they're wild caught. Can't get them all the time, and the pricing is something to take into factor. But you know what? Sometimes the more that it costs, the better it is. But this is great farm-raised salmon. I think one of the things when you do go buy fish, first of all, get to know who your fishmonger is or who the person that is behind that counter, and ask them about the quality of what they're making is. Here we have that Old Bay, the shallots, we have the dill. We're going to add all those flavors to this. We're going to let this poach. It's only going to take a couple of minutes on either side to poach it. I'm going to actually take it and move it over. And then we're going to plate everything up. So let's see. We're going to need to do one last thing before we take our next break, which is get these vegetables in that bowl. Will you take care of that while I clean up a little?
Sure.
There you go. You need tongs. There you go.
I prefer to have them.
So yeah, using your hands won't be as much fun.
Now, what's so lovely about this is the rich colors in these vegetables.
And that not only makes it seem healthy, but it also, not only it is healthy, but it makes it so enticing to want to eat.
Exactly.
Right.
When people are trying to decide what they should eat or which foods to put together, it's just to merely say have a colorful plate with rich colors, such as the greens and the deep reds and the yellows.
Right. And filling up your plate with these items, they're just delicious. It goes great with everything you're doing. And when you want to watch your portion sizes, like Barbara was talking about before, one of the ways to watch your portion sizes is fill the rest of your plate first and then put your entree on. A lot of times we do it the other way around. We find what we want to put. We say, oh, this is going to fill up a plate. And then you look at it and you go, well, now I don't have any room for my vegetables and my starch or my legumes. No, if you go in the other direction,
Exactly.
fill from the other side, you're going to get a lot
Actually,
better.
you should take your plate, divide it in half, and one entire half side should be with vegetables.
Awesome.
And then the other side should be with the meat or the fish and the starch.
Awesome. So what we're going to add is a couple of flavors in here. Remember, we're not going to try and do any salt in here. We have cumin and coriander. And to give it a little bit more color and bounce, we're going to add a little turmeric. And not too much olive oil, but just enough to coat it all and to mix it all together. All right. So you're doing that.
It's delicious.
The salmon looks like it's finishing
Would you like
up.
me to stir this?
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be awesome. Salmon's finishing up right now. When we come back, what we're going to do is we're going to show you how this couscous really came together. We're going to pull out a beautiful piece of salmon that is just going to be poached all the way through. It's going to be moist, tender, and absolutely wonderful.
Oh,
I'm going to
looks
serve
delicious.
grilled vegetables on a plate, and Barbara is going to bring this all together and tell me I did a wonderful job. Right?
Absolutely.
Don't go away. We'll be right back.
There is a better way to have fun with history. Visit americaslibrary.gov. Log on, play around, learn something.
Where can you find the healthiest, happiest, most pampered animals raised with the knowledge and experience of professionals and treated with the same care as your own pets? Why, right here in your own backyard, New Hampshire, where we work hard, play hard, and there's room enough for everyone. The livestock industry of New Hampshire plays an important part in maintaining the New Hampshire way of life. It's always better at home.
Oh my God!
Do you have a problem with your friends driving recklessly? With your friends endangering your life? I'm here to tell you that reckless driving is the #1 cause of teenage deaths. But with new and improved Slow Down, you don't have to die.
He's right. We should slow down.
In the real world, there is no spokesperson to prevent reckless driving. There's only you. Speak up.
Kim, pay attention.
Hey everybody, welcome back to A Culinary Journey. I'm here with Barbara. She's over at the eating section of the restaurant, of the place. So I'm going to do just like she said. We're going to separate our ingredients or our items of the menu by filling half our plate with vegetables, right?
Yes.
And we have some great, I mean, it just creates its own sauce. Little olive oil on there. And then, well, let me just take our couscous first. Again, using fresh herbs and fresh ingredients. And in this case, we haven't cooked anything down on the couscous. And we now get our salmon. I think that one was my size, wasn't it? And we'll get some more couscous over here. And if you're going to go heavy, if this is your main meal of the day, and this is the one you're going to eat the most of, well, you need to break it down into the right components and the right amounts.
Great,
Barbara,
thank
how's
you.
that
It
look?
looks wonderful.
All right, so we have poached salmon, we have grilled vegetables with nice flavors, because we took those flavors that weren't salt, and we added it to it. We have extra virgin olive oil, and we have vibrant vegetables that we could look at.
Exactly. And a lot of people will think that the only way they're going to get flavor is through a deep fried or grilled. And this poached is certainly more heart healthy for you.
So let's dig into. It should stay tender. We don't have to add a big sauce on top of it. I think the only other thing I would add, let me go over and get one, is maybe a sprinkle
delicious.
of lemon. What do you think about that?
Sounds
Let's see,
good.
if I get a knife, we'll get some lemon over the top, because that just a nice acidicness.
It is so important in the heart world to really discourage any sort of cream sauces and
Right.
to encourage fresh flavors such as the lemon.
Right, and it just breaks it all up, and it just not breaks it, but opens it all up. Now, everybody hears about wine,
Yes.
and they see that's healthy for you, and that's like the best
Yes.
thing you could ever. You're like everyone's best friend when you tell them that. So
Exactly,
you should drink
but
red
actually
wine.
physicians are really having a hard time encouraging wine because they're not quite sure of the behavior of the individual. But if you don't have a problem with drinking wines in abundance, actually 4 to 5 ounces is acceptable. For men, I'm not quite sure why 10 ounces is more acceptable for males.
You have a more stressful day.
But
Just kidding.
But the red wines truly do have omega properties as well. And for those individuals that do have problems with wines, they can choose a purple grape juice
Right.
instead.
Right, so that's healthy for you too. So it's not about giving up things. It's about actually rediscovering how good things taste without all the extra additives.
Absolutely.
And all that
Learning
stuff.
how
So-
to substitute.
Yeah, and in a lot of ways, it's what we have been doing for centuries that we just forgot in some ways. So
Exactly.
good poach, a grill with light flavors, vibrant colors, living off of what the earth gives us is really the way we should treat our bodies.
Now, Luca, if I were to go to a restaurant, what are the 5 questions or tips that I should know to eat heart healthy in a restaurant off of a menu?
Well, the first thing to do is talk to the chef or talk to the owner of the restaurant. Tell them this is the way you want to eat, and they will make it for you. And find the places that do it. Frequent those places that think about the way you want to eat. A place that when you go in and they say, well, I can't make any changes on the menu, well, then that's not too much. That's not where you want to be.
Right.
But look for ingredients that you can then make very easily and change them around. Most restaurants will do it. A lot of people actually care about the way their the way their guest eats. So if you came into a place, and luckily I have one of those places, but I'm just saying in general, if you came in and you said, listen, this is my concern, this is the way I want to eat, look at the menu first. Look for non-cream sauces. Look for sauces that can be altered, all right? Develop a rapport with the owner, which is a big thing because they will respect what you want to eat because they want you there and they want you to be happy. And they'll try and make it flavorful. Find those places and you'll do well.
Would during the evening hour, would I be able to order a lunch portion in most places?
I can't speak for every place, but for a restaurant, for not to be concerned with what the guest wants, I think it would be silly. If you want a half portion, you should be able to get one. And again, find the places that do that. And you can only do that by creating a rapport with people. And they'll understand what you want. If they don't understand what you want, you find someplace else.
And how often do you introduce nuts into your diets and your menus?
My menu at home or at the restaurant, there's nuts scattered throughout. Most of my salads have some type of legume or nut into them. Most of my ingredients will throw that in. Mediterranean diet screams for that, whether it's pistachio, whether it's almonds, whether it's pecans, whether it's walnuts. Any one of those find their way into something we're cooking. And whether it's a chicken salad with sun-dried cranberries and walnuts or anything else, they really do, not only are they healthy for you, but they taste great and give another level of quality of food that you don't normally get by leaving them out.
Great. And even though they are heavy in saturated fat, just a handful a day can actually keep that LDL down.
So the key, I think, to what we're talking about is a diet like the Mediterranean diet is a perfect one to follow that thinks legume heavy, thinks grain heavy, thinks vegetable heavy. And then every once in a while throw in there some meats and then follow portion sizes because that is important to what you do in the long run. So watch your portion sizes, develop your plate, create new habits, and come up with items that you know you'll like. So some people might not like the turmeric on here, but find something that's exciting and fresh and vibrant for you that you'll like, and I think you'll do wonderful.
Besides the heart-healthy cooking, do add exercise.
Oh, exercise
to your daily.
too?
Yes, you must exercise.
I'll do that too. I'll run around the kitchen a couple of times. Well, thank you so much for being with us today,
Thank you for having me as your guest.
Really appreciate it. We're going to have dinner, then I'm going to run back to the restaurant, and we'll see you next time on A Culinary Journey.